Hello and welcome to another educational Vex video, and today we're going to be tackling the Yone versus Vex matchup. The first thing that I want to do here is establish lane priority, but also take a look at his items to see what he's itemized. There's a very big difference between somebody who's using D-Blade and Doron Shield, and that's really just going to disable or enable a little bit more poke damage. So we are going to get a very nice E-combo, auto E-auto, which procs electrocute and gets some really good damage, and we notice that he has also started his W button. So the thing that we need to play around is that his W does has a slightly longer range than his Q, but it's also got a much longer cooldown. So because he's unable to access the minion wave, you're going to see me stand on the front of my minions, and this just allows me to put extra pressure. But unfortunately, it looks like my Nidalee does die, and I am level 2 here versus level 1, so I'm very confident taking that trade. But we also got some pretty important information, which is that Karthus is currently on his wolves. So in this situation, if we know where Karthus is, it makes it a lot easier for us to prevent dying to any jungle assistance. But we really just want to make sure that we're putting as much damage onto him as possible to make it a little bit more sketchy for him to just farm at all. Now you'll see me drop a ward on the Raptors. The reason why I put the ward on Raptors is to protect me from a gank, but also gives me jungle tracking information that helps my team avoid dying as well. So we have a general idea of when Karthus is going to look for an opportunity based on when that camp has been done. But we've also put in a situation here where we are just trying to zone the Yone off of the cannon. Unfortunately, he does get it. But all things considered, this matchup is very favorable for the Vex, purely because we have range advantage, and he also doesn't really have a way to deal with our combination, which is our W of Fear. If he ever wants to move forward, he has to do it off of an E1 Q3, or he has to do it off of an ER. So once again, pressuring off the minions, we don't want to give him the opportunity to farm for free because he's going to get gold, and he's an extremely gold efficient champion. But you have to remember, Soul Unbound is a very long cooldown. It's pretty much almost 20 seconds. So anytime this guy uses his E like that, he doesn't have a gap closer. But I do have to respect the Q charges, which is kind of like the only way to actually lose. Now we do see that we're currently fighting for topside scuttle, so I'm going to go and rotate here. Like Trinimir is just going to find the solo kill. And it looks like Yone's actually going to cut him off here, so we're going to just all in him. Fortunately, we managed to save Trinimir here. And we have Fear built up again from our Doom proc, so I'm just going to try and run him down here. This is a bit of an overzealous play because it is a Tahm Kench, and I try to hit him with the Blasco in a way so that he would bounce back into us, but I mess up and it goes away. Now, the bad news here is that Nidalee did get a bunch of farm from my mid lane, so she's back into the game, but it's at the cost of my own experience, which is a bit of a tragedy. But we are going to find a free reset here, which is meaning we're going to get some free items. We're in a pretty good situation because regardless of what the Yone does, he's not really going to be able to push that in before I get there. Gonna wait for a little bit more mana before we start heading back to mid. And it looks like Nidalee is just getting hard destroyed here, which is a bit unfortunate. Now, because we delayed our return back to lane, we're actually going to lose a few minions. Yone currently on a dagger, so he doesn't have much in terms of combat stats, and we actually just mess up 6 CS here. So not only did we lose minions for leaving for that rotational play, but we also lose 6 minions at tower, which means that we're a little bit behind in experience. Now, Yone dying and losing a majority of the wave is also bad for him, but I really just care more about myself in this situation. So there's no reason for me to immediately push this. If Yone's back buying items, he's going to be back with boots anyways. And once again, just punish him anytime he walks up here. He actually bought a null mantle, which is really, really bad for us. Vex is a champion that has very low base damage, so... Well, she's got pretty good base damage, it's just that the ratios are really bad, so... Tier 2 boots, sorcerers are something that enable a lot of our gameplay, so having that immediately countered by an early null mantle just makes me feel really bad about myself. And it's correct for him to do it because we are playing Nidalee Vex, which means we're double AP, so he gets double value out of it since he's no longer having to worry about any damage coming in from an AD jungler. And it's not too bad to trade like this, like he does have D-Shield, which gives him 40 HP every single time he gets autoed over 8 seconds. But any trade that he takes negatively is going to benefit me more just because I have more kill pressure. Like, my ability to kill this guy is a lot greater than his ability to kill me purely off of our combinations when it comes to skills. Because if he ever has no safety net like a Q3 or an E1, I can just lead in with R, and he doesn't have an answer to it besides flashing or ulting in mid-combat. So if we were playing this a little bit more methodically, we would have a lot more pressure and kind of zone him off from the wave here, but I am going to relinquish a bit of pressure because I'm not sure where their jungle is right now. And we do see Nidalee on top side, so in this kind of situation, I should be hovering towards my Nidalee. This is incorrect right now, so being on the bot side of lane is dangerous because I'm farther away from my jungle, but I'm also opening myself up to getting out-rotated. So it's a bit of a meme, but we are just waiting. We find a free EQ here. And getting trades like that's really important because he doesn't have any more sustain outside the D-shield, so any amount of damage that we do is going to stick a lot better because he has no access to potions. So eventually we can create a situation where we have a kill window or he's unable to access the wave purely just because he's scared out of his mind. Now we have the ward on Raptors, which is going to spot the Karthus, so we do have a little bit of information to work here. I was intending to go for an ultimate kill on him because I got the ward there. But Karthus clear speed is actually insane. The guy literally just cleared that in about like 4 seconds. Now I just used my fear on the wave right when he has Q3 built up, which is really, really bad. It's kind of like the only ways that you can lose this matchup is if you waste your fear to push the minion wave when he has Q3 up. Because you gotta remember, like, the only way that he can gap close is with Q3 outside of ulting. Like, E gives a small dash, but it's not gonna be enough. And looking for a wallbang here. Find it from Fog of War. I build up fear. Full combo. And mixing in autos should result in this kill. It's just really unfortunate here that he gets his E back up and then really, really cringe, but we are going to end up dying here, and that is a 1-for-1, which is not worth it. And it looks like Nidalee going to go back in here. She's not been playing too well, so this is kind of a fusing situation here to begin with because we don't have priority topside. And it looks like she actually just, yep, she just killed herself. So all things considered, it is a 1-for-2. She's currently 0-3, but that's fine. We do have a lot of potential to 1v9 this game purely because 4 of their champions are extremely squishy. And this is an ideal composition for Vex in my opinion because I can kill all 4 of these people instantly and reset into another combo, which is something that I really, really like about this champion. Now, the good news is when we did that tower dive, we basically traded 1-for-1, but we also created a situation where Yone was losing a bunch out of it. And this is a bad trade for him, even though he's getting a lot of damage in, he does not have as much sustain as I do because of my triple corrupting potion. And the only reason why that even goes negatively is because I misused my W, and he can basically stagger his Q3 into my fear, which is weird. I don't know why it works that way, but there's a lot of weird interactions where your fear just does not stop people from moving. The most notable is Galio E being one of the most obnoxious things to play against. But we are in a really good situation here. We're just going to hold the wave as long as we can. This makes it hard for Yone to access the wave. So, obviously when somebody's really weak, you want to create a situation where they're not able to do anything. Yone rotates down. The only reason why he's able to do this is because his wave is currently frozen and he doesn't have the option to actually play through mid. I make the decision to just keep slow pushing. The reason why is because I want him to lose as much as as many minions as possible while he's away. And while pushing the minion wave in does create pressure and does deny him CS, he is just going to walk back since he's very, very close by anyways. Now we get a really nice trade there. That's really good because he doesn't have Vamp Scepter yet. And we're going to go and drop our wards because we are starting to move into an aggressive position. Your wards should really basically represent what kind of objective you have, what you're trying to accomplish. And if we find the R here, we can actually kill him, but Karthus is going to go and back him up. And this is unfortunate because we do have a kill window there, but we can also take plates, so having Karthus basically protect him is really obnoxious to deal with. But all things considered, Yone is forced to reset. If he does not reset, he's going to die under this tower, so that is the reason why I'm shoving this in, is because I want to deny him even more, and I also want to grab this plate for myself before I recall. So this is a really good reset timer because I get as many items as I want. Yone's still not going to be able to really do anything. Yeah, but I opt here for the Blasting Wand instead. The haste is really nice, and the mana is really nice, but I already have 3 Corrupting Potions, and I haven't really been having issues with mana resources. And then this is fantastic. So like Yone rotating top does deny Tryndamere a little bit, but he's not getting anything mid lane right now, so this gives me the ability to just push this in and deny him another wave. Now, obviously, he is getting the top side wave, so if their top laner doesn't head mid immediately here, they are just going to still lose a wave at the end of the day. Now, unfortunately, Nidalee just has a penchant for stealing all my CS, so that is also pretty annoying to deal with, but she's really, really desperate. And Yone actually cutting me off here. But he really doesn't have any follow-up. Like, that's the issue with Yone in a lot of these situations. If you don't have the damage to instantly kill somebody and you have to snap back, like there's no way to get back onto them if you can't build up Q3 again. And grabbing the honey fruits basically secures me everything that I need. If he Q3s here forward, there's a chance, but I'm a little conflicted right now because there's a lot happening on the map and I don't know where I need to be exactly. And then I just remember, oh yeah, free ults into the Karthus. And that's really, really great for us. Unfortunately, we do not get the red here. But getting a kill denies the Krug camp, but also gives me a bunch of gold. The only really tragic scenario here is that Yone is still getting a bunch of resources topside every single time this Tahm Kench leaves, so it's really unfortunate that he's just farming like 2 waves right now. But since we know where Tahm Kench is and we see where Yone is and Karthus is currently off the map, it gives me free reign mid here, which allows me to grab as many plates as I want. The reason why I'm resetting after this plate is to purchase my Ludens. If I continue to push mid lane, I can take another plate here, but it's not worth putting myself at risk because there's also the idea of behind tempo. So the faster I reset, the faster I get back on the map, which means the more impact I can put onto the map immediately. Because if I grab that next plate and it delays my recall by 15 to 20 seconds, it's going to take me 20 seconds longer to get back on the map. Or I may never find an opportunity to reset at all. Now, they do use their failed mid here, which means there's a bunch of gold going on to the Yone again. But the good news is because I have double magic penetration items completed right now, I'm an actual nightmare for them to deal with. I'm splitting XP again with my Nidalee. She's really desperate. Fine. But waiting around my ult cooldown is kind of like one of the biggest things for creating gameplay opportunities on Vex. And that's kind of one of the penchants that you need to get used to when you're playing Vex, is that you want to be really good at manipulating wave states while you're in a position of like vulnerability. And then once you have the ability to create plays with your ultimate, that's when you start just looking for as many chances as possible. Like right now I'm going for this roam because I crashed my wave and I've got a timer to do whatever I want. But this play wouldn't be as easily doable purely because I don't have ultimate. Now, Yone's going to hard push this mid wave in, which means I'm now about to lose something. At the end of the day, if there's no cannon there, I'm going to lose like maybe 4 minions, but because cannon is there, cannon takes longer to kill the tower, which means it's saving me CS in the long run. So, roaming or resetting on cannon waves is a really great way to min-max efficiency. And it looks like Yone actually going for a reset here, but now he's top lane right now. No fear available, so even if I find an ultimate, it's not going to matter since I won't be able to full combo somebody without the guaranteed stun. And that's a really big part of Vex, is making sure that you have your fear available when you're going in for these all-in plays, which is really, really difficult a lot of the time, but Caitlyn really overextended here. And that's going to be a free kill. Vel'Koz, unfortunately, just a little bit too good at spacing there. But I'm pretty close to Hex Alternator. If we grab this tower, that's going to enable me to do so. If I'm feeling a little bit insecure damage-wise, then I can also opt for a Zhonya's. But it looks like this is going to be a free dragon. Tahm Kench also a little bit overextended. A lot of times people don't really respect neutral objectives, and they just keep walking in after something's been killed. And that's exactly what's happening here, since Tahm Kench decides, oh, they just did dragon, there's no way they're in the area. And we just all walk down on him right here. And he totally could just kill all of us because Tahm Kench is a balanced character, but... Exhaust coming in for my Draven. Okay, there's absolutely no way. Kill goes on to Nidalee. Unfortunate. It's all good. Tryndamere currently in a 1 versus 3 situation topside. Walks in a trap, which is surprising. And wow, massive trap again from Caitlyn. Yeah, he actually got hit by 3 traps. That is nutty. And the kill shutdown goes over to Yone. So Yone is pretty close to shield bow. Shield bow is a really great item for him. Really exemplifies what Yone is about, which is sustain and also being just a 1v9 nightmare. But ultimate is available once again, which means I have the ability to impact the game as much as I want to. One of the big things I do not like about Vex is she kind of has an inability to side lane purely because you're very vulnerable without your fear. And a lot of times I just feel like most of the jungle champions in the game right now are 1v9, which means if I go side lane or if I have a losing side lane matchup, it's just like you... Not only do you lose side lane, but you also don't get to just 4v5 around mid lane and get a bunch of resets. Because it is true, like, Vex doesn't have many losing matchups, so if you do go side lane against them, you technically will win. I just feel like it's a waste to be playing a team fighting skirmishing champion and then be playing like 1v1 the entire game when I could be going mid lane or 2v2 with my jungle. Now, if my jungle's shadowing, then I don't mind playing for stuff like that. I just think it's really, really annoying to be playing Vex in a game where like no fights are happening. So looking for an angle here. Unfortunately, we're forced to use our fear on the wave, but we are looking for a chance. This is a massive bug. It's one of my least favorite things about Vex as well. It's like there's so many interactions that are just straight up bugged on this champion. I've had a lot of situations where my ult will just basically bug out and result in all my skill combos just going like sideways. And then a few times like I'll be able to use fear, literally just running back into them 1 versus 4 for no reason at all. Like we've already disengaged the fight, there's no reason to continue it when we have a winning spot lane split. Because as long as nothing happens, like if nobody dies, we're getting a tower and exchange bot side, so just playing it slow is a completely acceptable answer. Now, me engaging that fight also could be considered bad, but you have to respect the fact that I'm willing to try because Vex is that kind of champion. Now, they are collapsing on Tryndamere, so if he gets out of here, it's basically 100% worth it. Decision-wise, we decided to go with the stopwatch and X alternator. I'm not really forced to build Zonias because I still have the stopwatch, and that's something that I'm comfortable with. Like, Hex Tech will allow me to one-shot Karthus, the Caitlyn, and the Vel'Koz. If I'm forced to use stopwatch the next fight, then I can start teching into the Zonias. Obviously, spending like 1,000 gold on the Hex Tech and then not finishing the item can be a little bit of a bad blow. But damage-wise, it's still really good because it has the active of an extra 100 damage. And just standing over the wall here looking for an opportunity, I am going to find the Fog of War into the combo. And it's actually insane, but it turns out that Yone is just a better player than I am. I find the full combo, I do it all from Fog of War, and he still just basically 1v9s me because Shield Bow gives him 600 shield right now. So I kind of need to buy an Oblivion Orb, and even then, it's still not like a guaranteed answer. It's also surprising because we had a lot of teammates nearby, but we still weren't able to collapse on the Vel'Koz or the Yone as fast as I expected. But Tryndamere had a nice 1v1 here. This puts a lot of pressure on the map, but we do want to set up for Dragon, which is spawning soon, so the fact that we're even on top side right now makes no sense. Like 45 seconds, you take a look at the vision on the map, we have 5 wards around Baron. And that's fine. Like, it's okay to put vision around Baron, but we don't have a single ward that's set up to like create pick opportunities. And then Tryndamere engaging here. He's got enough sustain, so I don't mind, but it's like getting poked out before Dragon fight is also an issue in of itself. Soraka to the rescue means that this game is going to be perfectly acceptable. And as you can see, we have absolutely zero vision around this objective, so we're now forced to face check into like a bunch of one-shot champions. Fortunately, find a fear and just full combo the Yone out of it. Ult into the Vel'Koz. And unfortunately, once again, another visual bug. I'm just completely stuck in place. And then a lot of people don't understand this, but Vex ult is technically dash, so it led me right into the Caitlyn trap and stunned me out of air. So really, really unlucky. Now, Vex is technically unstoppable during the dash itself, but the CC effects still apply. So if you Vex ult through Caitlyn trap, through Veigar box, you're still going to get hit by the stun or the CC effects. once you arrive to the destination, assuming that like it hasn't timed out yet. But that's something that you do have to play around sometimes. I really like the Veigar matchup. It's pretty fun. But we get a free dragon here. A lot of that could have been prevented had we played around proper vision control. That's something that supports don't really understand as part of their responsibilities, is setting up an objective with their teammates. Putting your vision on the wrong side of the map during something like that is problematic. And thankfully we're able to get a bunch of distance here, otherwise we just would straight up die if he landed that W. But this is really bad. I don't really have any gold right now. Like, you take a look at my itemization, I don't have any slots. Like, the only thing I can sell right now is a Dark Seal. And the Dark Seal has 3 stacks on it, so it's 12 plus 15 AP, that's 27. I can sell it for a Blasting Wand, so it's 27 AP, and then it turns into a 40 AP wand. But Blasting Wand doesn't build into Zhonya's, it also doesn't build into the Horizon Focus, sorry. Now, I have enough gold to buy Seekers, so I'm really close to Zhonya's in that regard. This is a really risky play. We have no clue where the Tahm Kench is, so it's kind of expected that I would die in that scenario. There's really no reason for Tahm Kench to come off the map right now unless he also had an itemization like that he needed to purchase. But this is super ideal. Like, if you're ahead and you want to play extremely aggressively, Horizon Focus enables that, but I think Zhonya's is like one of the best items in the games when it comes to engaged champions. Because realistically, like, you're throwing yourself into the enemy team looking to one-shot somebody, and then they're going to try to turn on you, and you just use your Zhonya's to mitigate all that, and the game's over. Now, Fog of War ult, find it, straight into the back line, immediately remove, find a return ult onto the Vel'Koz. Now, I wasn't really expecting to take legit 700 damage from, I got hit by the Vel'Koz passive proc and the Skittle at the same time. For some reason, Karthus Qs do 500 damage, and it's on a 0.5 second cooldown, so I just got a little bit outplayed there. Massive damage coming in from the Draven. But for some reason, Caitlyn probably was typing. I don't know why she's staying in the middle lane, but it gave me a free double reset. Trading 2 for 1 isn't the worst because it puts a lot of pressure on the map and gives us number disparity to force objectives like this mid tower. If I was able to find the Zhonya's, I think we could have lived with the help of Soraka. It's just I was not expecting the 700 damage at the exact same time. Because it was 500 damage from Karthus Q and then like 300 damage from the true damage Vel'Koz Rift. But if I did land the Zhonya's, it would have been absolutely sick, so I do respect that. Been refining objective top side, so we see 1 top. 4 people currently missing, 1 mid. So 2 mid right now, 1 top. We're not sure where 2 of them are, which is Karthus and the Yone. Trinity resetting into bot side. Nidalee currently caught out, so if she dies, it does put a little bit of pressure on the Baron objective, which is really, really annoying to deal with as well. But I think she should be fine here just because she is a cat. And no, it doesn't. Yeah, she's dead here, I think. So she's dead. Fortunately, I don't find the execute onto the Yone there. He just straight up ults me, and I have to rely on my Draven here to carry me through this. Amazing ultimate from Draven, just finds 2. Now, this one, I know this is really risky. Like, I'm 400 HP, I die to anything at all, but I'm just here to back up my Draven. Use a little bit of my skills as, like, CC. There's 2 dead already, so I'm not really concerned with a 3v3, especially when they're focused on the Baron objective, but hopefully we're able to find the Vel'Koz here, because even if we don't find the Vel'Koz here, we're still creating pressure for the Tryndamere, because he can take an objective like mid tower or top tower off of it. But I think Tryndamere's mad because he's straight up, he's looking for this Vel'Koz right now over the wall. Drake's spawning in 35 seconds, so I'm just going to go and reset here. I think this game is pretty much on the last legs, which is why I'm buying the elixir. Buying an elixir delays your core components, so if you need an item like Zhonya's or Void Staff really badly, you should not be buying elixirs. I typically will buy an elixir before Barons or really important objective fights that I think are going to be like very crucial. Because at this point, I don't have enough inventory slots to buy anything else. It's not like I'm going to buy an Amp Tome, so I spend the 500 gold on 50 AP. And it makes it a little bit easier for me to one-shot somebody here as well. So using my EQ on the dragon means I no longer have fear available. I just get instantly engaged on here because they somehow have vision and pit. They kind of full send it here, but it's a free opportunity to go into the back line. Yone just comes to our back line. And then for some reason my ult clips him right here, so I go over the wall as well. Just like super surprising. I was not expecting to find the Yone there. A cool interaction though. But 3 dead, 2 missing. Mirror on the map, reset. We don't know where Caitlyn or the Vel'Koz are yet, so we kind of have to play it slow, but we find them in the jungle on bot side here, so pushing mid is guaranteed free for me. There's no way we die. And at this point, I'm just going to go and rotate down to provide a little bit of support. I get Z-Axis here. I hate this game. Really, really cringe, but there's no way for them to stop me on this mode push here since they have all their members committed to bot side, so I'm just going to go and grab this. And at this point, like, I have 900 gold. There's still nothing that I can really buy. Nidalee's distracting the Caitlyn. We're just going to go ahead and pressure as many towers as we can while we have a number advantage. And for some reason, they send 2 mid lane here, so we might be able to get inhibitor bot side. Actually, it looks like that's definitely not what's happening here. I'm a little bit out of position. Caitlyn is still in the 1 versus 1 situation here in the jungle, looks like, and she's dead. Okay, fantastic. This is a little bit of an overstay from us. There's really no reason why we should still be here. Oh, and we find the Caitlyn. Oh, Trendmere literally just double killing them 1v3, so it was an overstay. Now it's a free dragon or inhibitor. We find the ult on the Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz doesn't have any dashes because he is an immobile artillery mage, so I just immediately lead with R. If it was any other champion, I would not feel comfortable leading with R in that situation, but there's really no way I'm gonna not just ego that, especially into a Vel'Koz. And that is gonna be Surrender, and thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.